Hello everybody, welcome to Brick Vault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 Mocks of the Week episode, where I show you guys the coolest custom creations I happen to see people building in LEGO throughout this last week. Like always, there are way more than just 10 cool builds to show you. Links to as many of the creators are in the description below, which I highly recommend you take a look at. And the custom build that went up in our web store this week is the Battle Cruiser from Jarek. This StarCraft Terran capital ship is absolutely massive. It scales really well with our Imperial Star Destroyer. It's got a ton of details and is built pretty darn strong. Digital building instructions are available at our web store, www.brickvault.toys, linked in the description below. It's a great way to help support the channel, and now let's jump into some of the honorable mentions before the top 10. From First Order LEGO, this is Umbara, the Clone Wars LEGO mock. I've been waiting to see a diorama from this planet for a while. It's just such a weird and strange environment. My guess it would look really cool with some black lights and some maybe a smoke machine or something. From Carterwitz, this is the Spaceship Telephone Game Part 4. It's basically a collab between him and another designer where they build ships back and forth. This one actually almost looks a little bit like an old telephone. And then from the designer Lego Fajatin, this is titled Barbecue in Jabba's Basement. Doesn't require much more of an explanation than that. Love that the Rancor has like the entire turkey in his hand. And then this is a wonderful scene built out by Ben Cossey called Tales in Omos, Chapter 18. Lighting and details are excellent, and Frost has built the Jaeger Core. Says this is a collaborative build, so I did see an arm earlier last week from Alex Park Designs. This is titled Pathfinder Galaxy Crab. Looks like a whole solar system seems to be trapped inside the dome on the top. Excellent details for claws. And Woomy World's Dark Curator Mark II is somewhat intriguing and disturbing. Ivan Martinov made Reactor Chan. It is a mascot for a Russian entertainment site, I guess. Great little anime details though. This is an extremely dark scene from Michael titled It's a Good Thing We Were Wearing Helmets. It's another Order 66 scene. Excellent details all around though. From Caleb Frost, this is Bellatrix Lestrange. I believe this is a scene where she's in her prison cell in Azkaban. From 0937, My Kind of Sneakers is the title. And no, this is not the new Adidas sneaker that LEGO's working on. Toriel1 built the Chop Top truck. So many arch pieces in this digital model. The designer Vincent's LEGO creation titled this I Love You 3000. 3 excellent tributes to Iron Man and also the Infinity Gauntlet. DeMarco built this seemingly simple little military off-roader, but it's got just an excellent look, and this is something that I think would be great as a LEGO set, but of course LEGO doesn't make military stuff. Titled Nicolo's Caravan, we have excellent colors coming from Marcus Robler once again. And now let's jump to the top 10. You'll notice that the music's a little bit different in this episode, somewhat as a tribute to Loki 29's Lo-Fi Girl. Recently, and kind of always, there's always memes about the Lo-Fi Girl. Not all the time when I do this video, but decently often I'm either listening to this live stream channel or another, so this is just kind of a fun little tribute. The details here are really wonderful. There are some creative uses of pieces, and has anybody noticed that this girl uses up just a lot of paper? She barely uses any of the space on her sheets. Moving down the line to number 9, Lachlan Cameron built the Holden Torana A9X. There are about 1 million pictures of this car, so I'm kind of zooming through a bunch of them pretty quickly. He did some great color changes digitally, which is awesome, though the original build I do believe is in red. And it's hard to focus on any specific details here. There are just so many excellent little angles tightly packed together in Technic panel pieces and lift arms. And it's also excellent to look at this model next to the latest Lamborghini that came out. This model I think is a little bit more well known amongst car nuts and not as much the general public, being an Australian release I believe, but still an excellent looking vehicle. And then number 8 is a series of work in progress pictures from Galad. It is the beginning of September, so a lot of the ships from Shiptember are being worked on. Lots of work in progress pics coming from a lot of different creators. This one in particular grabbed my attention though, because as we get further and further into the design of this ship, you can just see how incredibly unique the shape of this thing is turning out to be. Most of the length is these longer mandible type pieces, these arms that stick out from either side. We have some great smooth light bluish gray joint pieces that do the connecting, some minimal yet bright color highlights, and apparently it's not done even in this picture here, so I'm curious to see where it's gonna go. Marcus Robler comes in at number 7. This is his Mech Monday build, Mr. crafty. Excellent color choices here. This lighter blue and aqua match quite well, especially with this purple ring piece, which I didn't know they made in that color. And then there's just some wonderful shapes like with the knees and the handbags, skis for the feet, and series of dish pieces that make up the joints for the arms. Thorsten Bonch is number 6. This is one of his Hobbit builds, of which he has many. Roast Mutton seems to be the title here, and it's an excellent system brick built model. I like how the knees come together with those Technic 1x1 bricks. The loincloth is simple, yet it works really well in terms of detailing, and the use of the hot dog bun pieces for ears is by far the most clever thing I've seen all week. And we are jumping onto a model that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time from Lech Kulina. This is Heimdall. This brick builder has used the snotting technique in a way that I have not seen anybody else do. Snot being an acronym for studs not on top. You can see there are no Lego studs here, and in fact there's almost no gaps between any points or angles on this ship in any way whatsoever. I'm not going to say this thing is over-engineered, but this spaceship has been built in a way that I think very few would ever want to follow in the footsteps of. There are just so many wonderful, interesting angles. No stickers. You see that red line that cuts between the white and blue? That's all brick built, and the fact that there's no gaps absolutely blows my mind. The shape for the cockpit is insane. I love the build for the thruster in the very back, and even the underbelly has a really interesting set of connections with these nice gold highlights. We've been showing some work in progress pics for a few weeks, or almost a month I think, and it's amazing to see what this thing has finally turned out to be. This model looks like it is extremely heavy, super solid, and most people would not recognize that this is Lego, but the connections on the inside that make it look like it's not Lego will absolutely make your head spin. Next build is a perspective piece from the designer Joe, or J&J Bricks. The title is Grey Havens. This looks like one of the final scenes from Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, and as the elves take their farewell, you can see some excellent build details through and through. The dock looks amazing, the design for the ship is quite nice, but take a look behind the ship and that's where I think this whole place really starts to pop in terms of skillful building. The rocky cliff faces in the back are not quite as far away as you would think. They're all connected by trans blue bricks. You can even see some of the angles that they're kind of sloping in towards the ship, but really the thing that grabs my attention the most is the sunset in the back. A lot of this doesn't really look like lighting at all. That's all just Lego brick covers, including the actual sky. The sky itself is all different types of yellow bricks stacked on top of each other. This is 100% Lego, 100% excellent, and it's probably one of the best perspective shots I've seen all year. Number 3 is from Forlorn Empire. This is titled Endangered Species and is part of a building contest where the roles of humans and apes have been reversed. So you can see the brick-built monkeys on the ground with guns and the humans on the vines running away or swinging away, trying to get away from the tranquilizer darts. The scene is excellent. It's kind of funny. It's a little bit scary, or perhaps has just a surrealistic horror vibe to it. And the jungle floor just feels very, very alive. Excellent build for a toucan, and we're moving on to number 2. Another perspective build, but this time done in a micro scale. So there's really sort of some different things happening here. Some of the larger stalactites and stalagmites that are close to you are built with tiny, tiny pieces like little unicorn horns or spear ends. The micro figure standing here is staring out at the Great Desert Spider Queen. That is the title of this build, and Nathan Smith is the builder. If you've got arachnophobia, this is not the place for you, and I can't tell if this person is like gonna fight the spider or if they are just standing there petrified in fear, too scared to move. And the shot also goes out of focus just enough to really give you a giant sense of scale for this rather small model. Now jumping down to the number 1 model of the week. By the way, I don't really go in order of best to worst, just my 10 favorite, but I gotta say I do feel a little bit biased choosing this one here, just because this is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, The Fawlty Towers by L'Etranger Absurde. Not only are the character builds wonderful, but the set pieces look incredibly well detailed. The golden snitches by the entranceway for handles is an excellent detailing. The flooring in general looks extremely meticulous to put together. The desk has all types of fun details to take a closer look at. I especially like the minifigure hands used as keys. And this here is titled, Would You Care for a Rat? Which is a pretty funny scene from one of the episodes. I'm surprised he didn't go for the Germans episode, or maybe I'm not surprised. Awesome character design, love the subject matter. If you haven't seen Fawlty Towers, I highly recommend that you take the time. I think those episodes can be found on YouTube. Anyways, that is it for the top 10 mocks of the week. Check out our web store if you have not yet already, www.brickvault.toys. It's a great way to help support the channel. If you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time at Brick Vault.